Hey, forgot to mention that we're recording this on my birthday. We're recording this the same time as we did the previous episode, so I'm celebrating my birth. It's December 20th.
By the time you're
way,
watching this, it will not be.
By the time you're watching this, no, unless I for some reason have completely forgotten about this and was like, oh shit, that thing we filmed a year ago.
Exactly 1 year ago to the day. I should put that up.
I should probably maybe post that. Fuck. So I'm celebrating my birthday like every 35-year-old man should. Ordering Chinese food and getting caught up on Gilmore Girls.
It's the way life was meant to be lived.
Mm-hmm. Sarah texted me earlier, like, are you doing anything tonight for your birthday? I'm like, I was originally planning on, like, maybe going out downtown like usual, but I don't want to be hungover. I got shit to do, man. Like, maybe some other time. I don't know.
Well, that's always the rough one when your birthday's in the middle of a week. It's like I could go out and get really smashed tonight. But then tomorrow's still Wednesday.
Like tomorrow's still Wednesday. I got holiday shit to do beyond the fact that it's the middle of the week, because I mean, I pretty much make my schedule anyway, so I mean, like,
well, true, but like for me, it'd be like,
oh, right,
and then I still gotta go to work in the morning.
yeah, and I just, again, like, I don't want to be hungover for 2 days. I don't. That's hangover 35. No, years ago, sure, I could still kind of function the next day. Fuck, but. Before we get into everything that's right about this episode, which is honestly a majority of it,
most of it,
there is 10 minutes, maybe? Okay, for everyone who was complaining about the musical number in the previous one, did they hang themselves after the sequence in this?
That's why no one was talking about it, because they all
they were dead. They all fucking died. There's a part in this episode that it starts out fine, because it starts out like it's a dream sequence, like there's a talking crow in the tree and some weird lights going on. I turn to you and I go, see, this is what I told you when Ray Weiss comes into it. This is exactly what'll happen.
Oh yeah, that talking bird in the tree was basically on par with like that weird taxidermied robin that that they have at like the end of Blue Velvet.
Yeah, and the filing cabinet lady, who's one of my favorite characters in this whole miniseries, who's always filing shit, is standing there like she's the log lady in this sequence. And at first, when I thought this was a dream sequence, at first I was fine. I was fine with this whole part, and then it kept going. Logan shows up. And I'm like, when it started dawning on me that this is actually happening, I was like, this is not working. And then it kept going and going and going.
And that was my big problem with it, both times that I've seen this episode now.
Yeah.
Is... Because, yeah, it starts off seeming very much like it's a dream sequence. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, Rory's walking down the street, it's nighttime, she's, for whatever reason, heading to the newspaper office in the dead of night. Well, it's fall, so, I mean, it could have just been any time after, like, 5.
True. Yeah.
But no one is on the streets of Stars Hollow, which, in every episode of the show ever, there are always people on the streets of Stars Hollow. Whether it's like two guys throwing a football back and forth or awkwardly shaking hands exactly behind the people who are walking. Like, there's always someone on the streets. But no, desolate, empty streets, thick fog bank over the whole town square.
And the flickering, like... so much shit that the fact that this actually is happening makes no sense.
The flower shop sign changes to say, instead of saying flowers, it says tonight.
We were joking like, oh, this is the part where she witnesses a murder. Like,
and then yeah, like a talking crow is up in a tree, and then some guy dressed in like weird period attire comes riding down the street on a unicycle, quoting Shakespeare.
It's like suddenly, and then the Life and Death Brigade shows up, and it's like suddenly steampunk Clockwork Orange happens for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, like they're doing this whole shtick, and they're all wearing like, you know, steampunk period attire.
You know what it felt like? It felt like whenever like there's that moment on like a season of American Horror Story where for no reason a music video happens, like suddenly Stevie Nicks is gonna come out and start singing at the camera.
Because why wouldn't you?
Because sure.
But yeah, and then like yeah, so the Life and Death Brigade is there. Logan shows up and like gives Rory her costume to wear so that she can match them. So
they can montage.
And then, yeah, they have like this montage of them going around town to like weird Beatles cover, which going with what they were doing, like it already kind of made you think like
that it was across the universe.
But the fact that it was also a cover, like a more modernized cover of the song, didn't help that feeling.
No, and then they go into it. They go into the movie Burlesque at one point.
But yeah, it was like this weird like light show of them going up and down the street, like all of the businesses on like the town square have like flickering multicolored strobes, and like they're just going into like shops and like just taking things and then like just leaving stacks of money behind and shit. And then they're playing golf on the rooftops and shit. Like none of this seems like a thing. Like I kept waiting any second for it to just be like, oh, and then Rory wakes up and it's like, man, I gotta get over Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, then it just keeps going. Then they like somehow come across a car and drive it to some other town where they end up in like some weird, like burlesque nightclub where there's choreographed dancing going on that they just fit seamlessly into.
It was so weird. Like you'd seen it before, so you were probably sitting there waiting for it to dawn on me that this is a thing. Like
because like in the first couple of seconds you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like when it hit me that like this is a thing that's actually happening, like
it's not gonna stop.
I literally said like, what is happening right now? And this is way early in the episode. This is super early, and the rest of the episode is honestly great. It is. So much of it works that every now and then I was reminding, like, oh, right, that happened earlier. That was weird. I kept forgetting about it.
So out of place, because at least with, like, the musical numbers and everything in the summer episode.
Yeah, it was a thing that was happening.
Yeah, it was set up that we're doing a musical. Then they did a musical. It was pretty much called out and happened according to plan. This was just suddenly, hey, let's all show up for a fucking montage, which, like, you gotta think, with any montage, none of the music you're hearing is something that they're hearing.
Yeah.
So that meant that they were just running up and down the street and marching in a straight line like they fell out of a fucking Beatles movie.
That's exactly what it felt like. Like, Seeds and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band made more sense than this.
But yeah, like, it kept feeling like any minute she was gonna wake up, and then it kept going, and then, like I said, it ended up at that club, and then it still felt like, well, this is a big choreographed dance number. Okay, eventually it's gonna snap out from this. And then that scene ends, and then it cuts to the next scene, which is still in this nightclub with them now just sitting around talking. It's like, oh, they're actually here.
They're actually here.
This whole night really happened. somehow.
And the guy is throwing around money and says he bought the club and is now putting his own music in there. Like, it's... What? Like, wow!
Like, who did you buy this from at, like, whatever fucking time of night this is? Like, just walk into the background, like, I say this, you there, you, are you the proprietor of this establishment, the owner? Like, here's a stack of fucking money. Keys, please. Like, was that the business transaction? Like, how did this come to pass that you bought this place?
Oh, I feel like the summer episode did a really good job of poking fun at certain kind of, like, age group stereotypes, like with the 30-something group that was really funny. Also, the really funny stuff with April in the summer episode, how she's being really pretentious, a college millennial, and then is just like, I don't know half of what I'm saying.
It's like, I none of this is true.
Who is Noam Chomsky? I don't even know. This nose ring really hurts. Like, there was really funny stuff there. And then this is just kind of something I'm supposed to accept, I guess, that this actually just happened. Like,
meanwhile, the other 30-somethings should be glorified because they're rich. They can do stuff like buying nightclubs in the middle of the night.
That didn't work. Like, this episode is longer than the other ones by about 10 minutes, and I can tell you exactly the 10 minutes that could have been gone.
Because, yeah, like, nothing in that needed to be kept. Like, it was pretty much like it was basically all set up to eventually lead us to her saying, like, a final goodbye to, like, Logan and his crew.
And that was the final goodbye to Logan was fine. I mean, that's relatively necessary.
Yeah.
You didn't need that other bullshit in front of it.
Yeah, because, I mean, if they had left it with where they left it like, how they kind of ended things in, like, the summer episode... Yeah, you could have built on that. There was plenty of room to grow, but I didn't feel slighted. Like, it's like, no proper resolution to that one.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how the episode ends, too. Like, it pretty much... Well, I mean, we'll get to that in a while. But
just even how, like, her relationship's always been with Logan. Like, like them just kind of stopping cold like that. Like, it's like, well, I don't know. We're done then, I guess. Click. Hang up the phone. Like, like, that seemed a fitting enough end, but...
I wouldn't have complained, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it honestly seemed weirder that he would just suddenly show up overseas, like, with all of his friends. And happen upon her in the middle of the night, like... it's a good thing they thought she was going to be out here in the town square.
This is time that could be devoted to more Jess scenes.
Exactly.
I mean, like, God, it was... man, like, it was just... I'm honestly at a loss for words how fucking random that was. I don't know. I just think it was... I'm confused right now. I'm so befuddled.
It'd be like if the montage opening, like, playing around in the fountain scene on Friends was actually just a normal scene, and it was just in the middle of an episode.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Like, wait, they're really doing that? What are they doing?
Like Rachel, getting off work, she's heading back to their loft, and looks over and just sees, like, Phoebe, like, come on! And then walks around the corner, and there's just, like, 15 lamps and everybody standing in a fountain.
Doing the schwimmer.
It's like, and they're just like, okay, this is the middle of the episode now. And then it cuts to them going home like, man, we are soaking wet now. And we don't have any lamps. Oh, you left them all outside? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was all shot on the same lot. Maybe. Like, really, the fountain could be just right fucking there. Just right outside of Stars Hollow.
That's why they had to be very careful when they were shooting those scenes of them playing golf from the rooftop.
Yeah.
Because once you get up to that rooftop, you can see over and you can see like, oh yeah, no, there's like the New York street on this side, and over on this side, it's the fucking Wild West.
Yeah, there's Seattle from Frasier on the other side of it. Like, it was maybe that scene was so bad it would make people okay with the Dean scene.
It's like just keep this, like hold on to this whenever we bring him back out here.
The Dean scene was fine. Like it was fine. He's in it for like it was sort of like when you're having small talk with someone you don't like. Yeah, whatever, you know, like, it's small talk, so there's not enough room for the person to really be that much of a douchebag. You're just kind of having small talk, catching up, and then you get in and out before something really douchey happens.
Or like you run into like someone like someone that you dated back in like high school, and you're like, we're both adults now, we can just talk.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, because it doesn't, like, it's not going to feel natural.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just happening to talk to you.
Yeah. And it was a quick scene. It was fine. Like, as much as he's my least favorite character on the show. Well, I was like, because he mentions, like, what, he's got 3 kids now, like a 4th one on the way?
Yeah, 3 and 1 more on the way.
And he mentioned a wife, and I was trying to remember what his wife's name was on the series, and I was like...
I cannot for the fucking life of me remember.
I was like, wow, if those two were still together, that woman's a fucking saint. Like, seriously.
Or really clueless.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just how it's supposed to work, I guess.
Have him give his opinion on the Donna Reed show. I mean, it was, I mean, hell, yeah, they were pretty much, really the only person who I think didn't show up in this whole thing was Max Medina.
Yeah, I mean, at least he does get like a name drop in the episode. Though,
he did get a name drop. He did get a name drop in
At
it.
least like that they're not just completely like ignoring the fact that.
Oh yeah, they didn't Brandanowitz him.
And we'll never speak of Mark Brandanowitz again.
Like even Tristan got an appearance as a body double before Max Medina did. I liked Max Medina.
Max Medina.
Christopher shows up in this. And I honestly, the only time I ever disliked Christopher was in the final season when it was from different writers and they made Christopher like the fucking villain of the piece.
Yeah, we need someone that everyone can be mad at.
Before then, like, I mean, he would just kind of show up here and there, and he would be fine. Like, I never really had that much of a problem with Christopher as a character, except in the final season, when some of the only best parts in the final season is whenever Luke punches him.
It's still one of my favorite episodes when the two of them are just walking across the town square, and they just start going right at each other, and then just clock each other.
Yeah, like there's a couple of scenes that are highlights of the final season. That scene.
Then just get up.
Yeah.
And walk away.
And the episode that begins with Luke driving to Christopher's place and then just punching him in the face, because it has that amazing setup where he's on the highway, he's got a map and everything, and then it all just ends with Christopher opening the door and Luke punching him and leaving. What'd you think of the Suki St. James scene?
I mean, kind of like how it actually ended up in actual execution, because they really weren't sure until they were filming it if she was even going to be able to be part of it. It felt shoehorned in there.
I didn't think it felt any more shoehorned in. I think that I didn't think it felt any more shoehorned in than, say, like, the Dean scene. You really could have honestly... Like, I understand why the scene's there with Dean. I totally get why it's there. You could feasibly completely cut that scene out and you wouldn't lose anything.
Oh, you'd lose, like, 3 minutes of runtime, that's it. Because nothing really gets established there.
No.
He acts really bizarre towards her the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And I don't mean, like his actual name, but Dean.
Yeah.
It's not like his acting is bad in the
No,
scene. It's just
no.
like he just acts super weird towards her in general. Like he has no idea how to talk to her when she's not his girlfriend.
The best dialogue was you putting words into his mouth, like, "Oh, you're bringing that up again, God!"
It's like, hey, remember that time? Like, fuck me.
Just bring it up again, Rory.
It's like, look, cornstarch.
Oh, let it go. Ugh, I hate dancing.
And even him being playful and coy in that scene still comes across really dickish. When she's like,
Kinda.
It's like, hey, Dean. He's like, yeah. It's like, cornstarch. He's like, pay for it this time. And then just leaves. It's like, oh yeah, that thing from when we were fucking kids. Blow.
You're not gonna make me look evil in the book, are you?
Yeah, that was his biggest concern. It's like, I'm writing a book and it's gonna have you in it. It's like, what?
She practically had to suck his dick to get him to say yes to the book. I'm gonna say you're big and strong and you always made me feel safe.
It's like, I guess. Like, he begrudgingly agrees to it. And even then, it's like under like the protection of anonymity. Like, she tells him like, oh no, I'll like change any like necessary names, other people won't know who it is, but you'll know if you read it.
He ain't reading it.
Like, you can see him thinking in his head, like, fuck. Will my wife be able to figure out who it is?
Oh, no.
It's like, whatever, it's like me and my boyfriend, John, is easily like, you can see him running the numbers in his head, like, fuck, if I bring a copy of this home and my wife reads this and she gets to that part, she's gonna know it's me. She's gonna fucking know. I already told her I built a fucking car for my girlfriend in high school. She's gonna fucking figure it out. She's not, I mean, she's stupid, but she's not that stupid.
I'll just tell her that Jess knew how to build cars too.
Yeah, fucking Jess.
Ugh. I'll tell her it was Tristan. I would have killed him. God. No, but with the Sookie St. James scene, like, I understand that being there in the sense that, like, the two are best friends. She's about to get married. Like, it's not abnormal for me that character would show up in that situation. And for the most part, I thought the scene was really sweet. Like, I thought it was well acted. I thought the dialogue was good. It was fun seeing Melissa McCarthy playing Sookie St. James again. And then they went and did the fucking goddamn celebrity chef name drop in the last few seconds of the scene.
It was a very touching scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
No.
Yeah, and like, you could honestly see like Lauren Graham literally looked like she was about to cry. Like, like you could see the moment's getting to me. Like, for real this time though. And yeah, just and Melissa McCarthy was like, she was being like Sookie St. James. Like, she wasn't being like weird, gross out Melissa McCarthy character.
Listen, you cocksucking motherfucking shitbag.
Yeah. She wasn't being female Chris Farley for a change. And it was all well and good. And then she goes around and basically reminds us of every single celebrity chef that has appeared or been name dropped in the whole, like, year in the life so far.
It was like that the celebrity chef thing I didn't like is one thing that I didn't like in this miniseries. And this
But the fact that it's a through line across all episodes.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, stop with this. I don't like this. I don't like this kind of trope in shows. I really, really don't. And then the scene with Sookie St. James was going along perfectly fine. Then, god damn it. The goddamn fuck. Other than that, though, like, you mentioned Lauren Graham being great in the scene. She's a wonderful actress anyway, and she's brilliant here. She has everything else about this episode I think works great. Like, everything with, the walkabout and all the jokes about the women being there because they've either read or watched the movie Wild. Like, all the jokes there were really funny. And Lauren Graham has this amazing monologue. phone with her mom.
Yeah, that one was a fucking good one. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, kind of bringing things back around
Full circle
from the beginning. Like, like, you know, all the troubles that she's had in this whole year have been because she fucked up that one moment.
Yeah.
And finally, like, getting like that's the thing. That's the one story that she should have told.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was a good sort of way to kind of bring things back to where it started at.
Yeah, exactly, because that one moment also sets forward like a bunch of other really positive things that happen with the characters in this, especially with Emily Gilmore. The way that it was going, I was wondering if it would end with, oh, and then she buys a dance studio and she is her character from Bunheads. Like, this whole thing has been a prequel to Bunheads.
Shared universe.
We just had Sutton Foster in the last episode. I guess that was her gig before she went to go be like a Vegas showgirl before marrying Alan Ruck and ending up in the small town.
You know, it all comes around.
You really need to check out that show. It's not that bad. And if you don't like it, it's only like 18 episodes.
If I don't get invested in it, that's no problem.
Yeah. It's only 18 hours.
I mean, it's not even a full day if you sit down and just do nothing else.
Exactly. That's what binge watching is for. Doing nothing else but watching 18 hours worth of television and sleeping for 6 hours. But, okay, I guess we could talk about the ending.
And yeah, I mean, this, like, they've been online for a little bit here. Like,
if you've already made it this far into watching us talk about this, I'm sure you don't mind spoilers. I liked the ending. I thought the ending was great. The ending made me be like, oh sweet, there's probably gonna be more.
Yeah, like everything, like once it really gets into like the last like half hour, like it seems like everything they do is setting up that they're hoping to make more.
I didn't get that. I mean, for me anyway.
Well, like, I mean, it didn't like. It wasn't like one of those. It's not. It didn't strike me like in the same way as like when like a movie like tries to do like the sequel bait shit at the very end. Or
sure.
something. But no, just like it left. It didn't just leave a door open. It left like the door open, the windows open. Like it left everything open to where like. If this is all that there ends up being, and this one little like revival thing was the, you know, like the final like
I would be surprised if that's the case.
Well, but if this is the end of it, like it made for a nice fitting finale, you know, put a nice button on everything finally. But if it's not, it sets up so many things to like, you know, branches that they could go with everything with, you know, Lorelai looking at buying like
the Dragonfly extension.
Yeah, like there's like a retirement home that the last resident has died, so they're closing it up. And she's talking to, you know, the nuns that run the places about buying it. And then there's that. Honestly, I really loved that scene with her going to talk to Emily. Where it's basically like...
It's the scene from the pilot episode.
It takes it right back to the first episode.
Yeah, exactly. This does that way better than the ending of Seinfeld did. They're not repeating the dialogue from the pilot in prison. Speaking of bad finales, wouldn't it have been really funny if when Rory, like, has, like, the manuscript for the novel she's been writing... If she puts it down, it's Roseanne. That shitbag finale. Like, fuck. Like, okay.
I finally wrote it.
I have problems with the final season of Gilmore Girls. I'll take that over the final season of Roseanne any fucking day of the week.
Or it just becomes that John Candy movie Delirious, basically.
Yeah, there is a episode in the final season of Roseanne where she is fighting terrorists on board a train.
Oh yeah, the Under Siege 2 episode.
Yeah, and her muse is Steven Seagal, and what?
When watching her going around fighting people just wearing like camo pants and a sports bra, I was like, no.
There's a character in this last season of Roseanne where Jim Varney plays like a foreign prince who falls in love with Jackie or some shit. I know you weren't a Roseanne fan, but did you see much of the final season of that?
I've seen the Under Siege 2 episode. And I think I've seen one or two others, but yeah, that's a. Well, and then the final one where it's like, oh yeah, just been writing my book ever since Dan died. Like,
and by the way, everything else you know isn't true either. David is actually with Becky. Darlene is with Mark. My sister's gay. So's my mom. Dan's dead. Fuck you.
rolls over in bed. Bob Newhart. Might as well. At that point.
You know what? At that fucking point, put it in the fucking Tommy-verse. It probably already is.
Pretty sure.
It'd be the only show around then that's not. So, yeah, what were we saying? Anyway, back to Roseanne.
Yeah, like, it gives us, like some really cool stuff, towards, like, the last, like, half hour. Like, her buying like this new place that'll allow her to expand the business and keep Michelle from having to leave.
Yeah.
Setting up this new arrangement with Emily for like, it's like now she's back to having to do like, regular visits again, like it's like kind of echoing their original, setup of the show when they first like got back into contact with each other. So I think it's cool, but it also shows like, like Emily, like finally becoming like sort of an independent individual.
That was amazing. Like, are we going to have our own spin-off series of Emily working at a whale museum in Nantucket? Fantastic.
I would watch it.
Because of that, I was never getting the sense that it was... I mean, I definitely see what you're saying, but like... I was watching it more of the vibe, less that it was setting it up for something else, and more that this is kind of a conclusion. Like, okay, Emily is now living in Nantucket and is now doing, like, whale tourism stuff. Like, and, Lorelai and Luke finally get married. It wasn't until that last line that I thought, like, oh, okay, well, I'm assuming there's going to be more of this. Otherwise, that's the biggest series cliffhanger since Alf.
Because, yeah, it goes through this, like, great montage of, like, the night before Luke and Lorelai's wedding, they decide, like there's too much pressure on this. Let's just get married tonight, and then tomorrow we'll just fake it in front of all these people, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so they go and do that, and like they're still hanging out in the town square come morning time.
Yeah, it's basically the same shot that the miniseries started out with.
Well, yeah, like them sitting in the gazebo on the steps.
Yeah.
And Rory's kind of talking about how like like her book, and it's like she wants to remember everything just the way it is. And then just out of fucking nowhere just turns like, Mom, I'm pregnant. Cut to fucking credits. And hard cut.
And the theme song starts playing. Like, oh, the theme song starts playing. That means it's starting now. What? No!
It confused me because then not even halfway, like 10 minutes into the episode, they started playing the normal, like, end credit music.
That's true, yeah.
Like, you got this all backwards.
This is... I don't know what to think anymore. Suddenly it's a musical? I don't understand. I think Kirk may be a pig now. I'm pretty sure by the end of this, they've adopted Kirk.
I'm a pig now, oink.
Bye, can't catch me. No, but so
That was the most abrupt line of dialogue ever delivered.
I was down. I was down with it. Like
Like, it
I'm
gives you,
totally
like-
cool with that. Yeah.
It gives you like, Mom, I'm pregnant. Like, Lauren Graham has just enough time to like, huh? Cut.
What's Lorelai gonna say? But you're only 32. So Jess is the father, right? Like, I mean, I know they want us to think it's Logan because that's who we saw her with the most.
And definitely the most recently.
Yeah, that we saw her with, but that's gonna be Jess's. Like, I mean, that would be like because he's the fan favorite of the three main guys that she's been with. Like, it'd pretty much be like if they did another season and she ended up with somebody who wasn't Jess. That would be like if this series ended and Lorelai marries like Christopher or Chris Eichmann.
But yeah, well, in this one too, like Jess was in the summer one, and his scenes with Rory were just, they were fine. It was just like it's like friendly advice giving type session, like nothing too much to read into. But then apparently, because he's still there in the fall one, like has he just been hanging out in
I think
Stars
so.
Hollow this whole
Yeah.
time then? We just never really saw him, but like,
And that
when
last
they're-
look that he gives her too.
yeah, because like they're getting like getting ready for the wedding and everything, and he's there just hanging out at the house, like ragging on Luke. And then he's like, well, it's crowded here, I'm gonna head out and I'll just crash at my folks' place or something. And he starts like walking out the door, and like Luke's like giving him shit, like, so that whole thing, it's over for you, right? He's like, oh yeah, totally over it completely. It's like, sure, because you're. And it's like, yeah. Lingering stare at the window. Grabs his duffel and just walks off into the woods. It's
He's
like
going off to be Keanu Reeves in the next town over.
a lot of people need to be shot in the face.
Fuck yeah, John Wick Chapter 2. Can't fucking wait. No, but yeah, he's the father. He's
Calling it now for when to like eventually announce, like, oh yeah, we're making like another like continuation, and it's like you're calling it right now for like at least a year ahead of time. Like,
oh yeah, it's like on Friends when Rachel was pregnant. Like, oh, Tag was gonna be the dad. No, we all knew it was Ross's. Maybe Joey's.
because boy was getting it in.
They finally hooked up. Yeah, her and Joey. They finally got together. They finally put them both together. Except for those awkward few dates that they had. No, and then Letty was saying something afterwards about, I don't know, I've even seen this in the comments too. Most people ragging on Rory for being unlikable or something this season. I never really felt that at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's coming from like, it's like, like, oh, she's being really promiscuous. She's like, like cheating on her. Like, she literally spends the entire year duration of this, like, cheating on that guy Paul, who she's apparently been with for 2 years. But to be fair, I mean, to anyone on the receiving end of something like that, I'm sure it's not going to come across as fair, but like, she does want to break up with him like the entire time. He's just so forgettable. She keeps forgetting to break up with him.
He's never there. Like, we barely see him. For all we know, he's a serial killer. For all we know, he's a terrible person. That's why we never see him. That's why she only texts him.
Well, he's basically Genslinger from New Girl, so he probably is a terrible person.
Exactly. See, so I got no problem there. And plus, as if Rory Gilmore is the first character on this show to be rather promiscuous or have like or have a love life that's not perfect by any means. Like, and plus, even me as I'm gonna sit here and judge this fucking character for not being on a pedestal.
Let me just go ahead at this point in my life and hand out life lessons.
Yeah.
But no, and like I was even saying, like it's kind of in the cards already, anyways, because it's like we've known this about Rory. It's just when she was in high school, it came across on a more high school level. Like, you know, she's dating Dean, but man, she really wants to date Jess.
Even the thing with her, like, eventually, her and Tristan eventually kind of flirting with each other a little bit. Hell, when she first hooks up with Dean, he's married, but Dean was by far and away the bigger douchebag in that fucking situation.
Yeah, so I mean, it's... Yeah, you want to think like, oh, it's Rory. She's this, like, you know, like, sweet-spirited, adorable, you know, miracle child. But she's got a fairly checkered past already.
It's just like any regular human being does.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, my God, so do I. So do most of the characters on the show. Like, Lorelai cheated on Luke with Christopher and then married him. Granted, that was in the shitty fucking season.
But still, I mean, there's plenty, like, there's precedents laying all over the place.
Uh-huh. I never once found the character unlikable at all. Yeah, the character had flaws, sure. She's a fucking human being. A lot of people do, especially at that age, 32, when you're kind of in a rut professionally and personally and things like that. Look, we've all got stuff we've done before and stuff we do at kind of low points like that, you know, shit happens.
Well, and especially too, like, I know, like, some people probably have issue with the fact that it's like, oh, well, she knows that Logan's in, like, a committed relationship and gonna be marrying this girl. Is like, it's like, yeah, but that's more Logan's problem than hers.
Mm-hmm.
We've already established that Huntsberger is a terrible fucking person.
And honestly, the agreement that Huntsberger and Rory have together is probably a similar agreement that he and his fiancée have together.
Yeah, like if she's... I can't assume that she is that completely oblivious.
Uh-huh. Especially if she's met his father.
Yeah,
and
like,
mom.
Like, she's met this family, like, there's a certain level of stuff you just have to be okay with.
Still, one of the greatest scenes in the entire series was Emily Gilmore talking down Huntsberger's mom. Just look it up. Like, that clip is on YouTube. If you just type in Emily Gilmore, it's one of the first things that comes up. It's when Logan's mom didn't want Rory and Logan going out or something like that, and she just verbally, using words, beats the shit out of this poor woman with just words and a fucking and with a smile too. It's amazing.
Oh, she's fantastic at that kind of a role.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just that look, man. Even like the scene in this with
where she cuts down the entire DAR.
Yeah.
Just another bullshit.
Oh, they get to say bullshit in this too, and it was Emily Gilmore who said it.
Just finally, like, I have had fucking well enough of you people.
I was waiting for her to drop the F-bomb. I was like, they technically can. This is Netflix now.
Yeah.
Like, they have her say bullshit like 5 or 6 times in the scene. It was amazing.
I was really waiting for it whenever the head of the DA, the DEA. Yeah, the head of the DEA. No, the head of the DAR. It's like snaps back and be like, if you say bullshit to me one more time, I so wanted her to just be like, okay, fuck you.
Yeah. Wow. Dropping the F-bomb. All
then
right.
she flips over the table and sets the place on fire.
Uh-huh.
That's the only place to go from there.
That was beautiful. That was amazing.
But I like how she cut down her entire social circle, but also that girl that they were just going through the motions of humiliating anyway. It's like, look, this isn't going your way, but okay.
You signed the worst prenup.
It's like we saw the prenup, we passed it around and read it and laughed and laughed.
That poor girl. God damn.
And she's like, you get these trophy wives. That's you, in case you didn't know.
Oh man. No, that was
Just serving everybody.
one of the best written characters I've ever seen on television. Any other final thoughts on the episode?
No, I mean with the very notable exception of the weird Life and Death Brigade scene. I thought the whole thing it was a fitting end to everything. It really showed a lot of character development for all of the key characters, and like I say, if this is where it ends and there is no more, it's a very fitting end for everybody. But it leaves so much room open for if they were gonna make either a continuation of this or even restyle it as a slightly different show. Like have it focused more on like Rory's character as like a new mother or something like that, even.
And make it better than Fuller House.
Yeah. Like I feel like it gives a lot of room because you could like there's something there you could work with, kind of like changing the dynamic, like having it now focused on Rory, like kind of just changing the roles a little bit. Like now you have her going to like instead of going to Emily and Richard's house, asking for favors, going to like Luke and Lorelei's house to ask for favors. You've got like there's stuff to work with. There's changes being set up in the town with the new inn that she's looking at starting. There's like it kind of helps too, like with Emily now being like more removed from the setting, that they could kind of change her character over to just more of like a like special appearances when needed type
That's
role.
very true. That's very true, because she really does have a pretty proper conclusion in this.
Yeah, like it seems very fitting. Like not much more really needs done with her character. I just feel like you're drawing it out at that point.
Yeah, exactly. No, the whole thing from beginning to end, I loved it. I'll say, like, it's like I said at the beginning of these 4 videos here. Like it feels like it's the proper conclusion that we didn't get really in season 7. Honestly, like this feels more like a fitting conclusion. It fits like it, or it feels like it fits more in this universe than the 7th season did. I had some minor criticisms here and there, but like no, overall I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and kind of like we started with in the first one, like for this being sort of a reunion show, this far after the original series ended, like everybody does a fine job all the way through of just fitting right back in. Like it never felt like anybody was playing their characters wrong, or like trying to remember, like it's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be aloof, and then overshooting it or underselling it.
Yeah, it was the anti-Mary and Rhoda.
Like it fell right where it needed to, or even as like a more modern comparison, like you said, like Fuller House.
Well, Fuller House, like, as bad as Fuller House is, it's a continuation of a show that was already shitty. So, of course, it's also shitty. Why wouldn't it be? Like, it's not gonna suddenly be on par with The Wire. Like, it's it's okay. It's Fuller House. Of course it sucks. Why wouldn't it?
But the fact that, like, since that one's modeled after a 90s sitcom, even the new episodes they're making now, they're still trying to make it feel like it's a 90s sitcom. So you're already starting off by making it feel dated.
Well, they're
But
trying
then
to
peppering it with like modern references, but still getting them somehow wrong.
Well, and I had to watch all of it, all the first season. It's way more meta about it. It's still bad for a lot of the same reasons the other one was bad, Full House. But it is way more. They try being really cute with it. Like, okay, when a sentimental moment happens and like the cheesy music starts playing, like John Stamos stopped and went like, "What's that? Where's that cheesy music coming from?" It does things like that all throughout it. Like, okay, when they are asking where Michelle is, they're like, "Oh, well, you know, she's running her clothing line in New York," and they all look at the camera. It does shit like that through the whole thing. But again, it's sort of like...
That makes me sad on the level I didn't know.
Why does that make you sad? Did you really like Full House?
No, I very much hated that show. It just makes me sad that someone gave someone a big stack of money and said, "Here, go nuts." That's what they came up with, and they're like, "All right," and they still went ahead with it.
There you go. I mean, when I was watching it, like...
Makes me rethink, like, why am I just doing this? Like, I could easily be selling scripts.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not as hard as everyone wants to make you think it is.
When you see the show, the title makes total sense, because DJ's last name is Fuller in it. The catchphrase is "Holy chalupas." They say that a lot in that show, and I watched all episodes of that in a day, and it was
and then you died, and I'm talking to your ghost.
It was the same weekend my engagement ended. And Fuller House was the worst thing about that weekend. I had to watch all...
And that's what we call perspective.
I had to watch all episodes of that in a single fucking day, and I was sitting there mad because, yeah, it's Fuller House is a shitty fucking show.
Oh,
but I wasn't sitting there like, I can't say the word disappointment ever came up, because I'm like, of course it's shitty. It's a sequel to Full House. Why wouldn't it be shitty? Yeah, of course this sucks. Thank God I'm getting paid for watching this.
Alright, well, looks like we are getting the...
Oh, shit.
The wrap up here.
Well, that's Fuller House.
That's a review of Fuller House.
We'll be watching, we'll be back to watching movies. You know this by now. I'm putting this up like some days after we've recorded it. See it.